Hello, I'm Owen Bardini, /Day, and I'm the Computer Games Promotion and Marketing Assistant at Manchester Met University. Would you like to introduce yourselves with like names and what years you graduated at?
Yeah, so I'm Adam. I graduated this year, 2024. I work with Jacob. Come on.
Yeah, I'm Jacob. I graduated again this year in computer games development.
Oh yeah, that was games design.
Can you briefly tell us what your job role is and what led you to pursue this job position?
Yeah, so we're taking part in a government scheme called Transfuser, where they give you essentially the summer to make a game. So they fund it as well. So you get $7.5 grand to go and make a game with a team that you put together. And the reason we're doing it is simply because it's essential to get a head start against other people looking for jobs.
Yeah.
If you have a published game, you're winning essentially, as from what we understand, what we're told. So it's to help with employability, but also because it's just fun and
I think
it's something to do.
Yeah, we didn't plan on keeping or even making a company, did we, when we started it?
No, not initially.
Now we've done that now, and sort of thinking once whatever we go into after Transfuser's ended, we'll keep this company and we'll just sort of work on it part time, probably ourselves, to myself.
So, what aspects specifically in your education do you think were like the most valuable in helping you get a role in the industry?
For me,
you go first. You go first.
Okay. I think for me, I did quite a few internships alongside uni, so that gave me sort of professional experience, and also helped when we came to doing the pitch and actually working as a team, leading a team, managing it. So all that product management and stuff I've had experience in for all the internships I've done. But in terms of courses, I think the latest one, which was the game pitch, I feel like without that unit, we definitely wouldn't have even got onto Transfuser.
Oh, Cheddar Cat.
No, it was
indie games development.
Indie games development. So we had to design. Well, we weren't in the same team, but a team had to design a game and pitch it to the tutors in the room, as though they were pitching a game to get funded. So you obviously learned a lot about all the business side, financial aspects of producing a game. So that information helped a lot with going for Transfuser.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I did internships as well. I did 2 with Jacob, which is kind of how the whole thing started, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, learning what you like to learn and like learning how to learn, just taking it into your own hands and just getting on with it. That was the main thing I kind of took away. Is just not necessarily the content of the course, but how to teach yourself.
Independent learning.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think a lot of students we noticed, because we spoke to quite a few, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, nah, there's no video for this on YouTube, so I can't do it." And there was no sort of get up and go drive. So if you've got that, you've got a high chance of getting good grades and suppose getting into the industry a bit.
How did you land your first job, and can you walk us through the application and interview process?
Yeah, so for Transfuser, the application process started in about, was it March?
Yeah.
No, it was quite. It was
Quite
towards
early,
the end of the year of the school year, I guess. Towards the end of the school year.
Academic year.
Yeah. And essentially, so with Matthew and Nathan in that last unit, we really pushed it to everyone because they really wanted more teams on this year than they've had in the past. But then essentially, all you do is you fill out the forms. You need to have a good idea what your game is. You fill out a form about that and about how you think you're gonna spend the money, and there's a lot of little bits that you need to fill out. But
yeah, I think there was 3 main processes, weren't there? There was the video, which was a 2-minute video of who we are, what game we're making, why we want to make it, and then like you say, the other two were
Yeah, so like money
financial stuff,
and
project management, I think.
Yeah, and the management of the project. And then once you've submitted it, it's out of your hands. You're chosen by a group of people at the university, and then they send off those choices to Transfuser, and then they decide if that's actually those are the right people. And we just got lucky, I guess, and they decided that
so
we were right.
I think they said usually it's one team at MMU that gets chosen, but due to like the high number of applications, I think there was like 7, maybe even more. I don't know. But 3 got chosen, so we were one of the 3, weren't we? So we actually got really lucky that 3 we won't get able to go through MMU as a whole.
Were there any challenging parts with transitioning from being just a regular university student into like working industry professionals?
Obviously not professionals, but it is definitely a different process in that you don't quite have the only drive that you have is whatever you create as you drive. You don't have grades looming over you. You don't have any of that. It's just you have to want it. That's the only drive you really have. Is if you want to do it, then you have to go and do it. I think that was the main part, is finding your own motivation.
Yeah, you've got to really know how to manage your time and be strict with yourself, especially if you're using your own hours like we are.
Were there any specific skills or tools that you learned during your studies that directly contributed to you getting your first job?
Like we said earlier, that last unit, indie game development, that kind of taught us how to pitch, which is what we needed to do to get the application process when we had to make a pitch video. So learning to pitch and kind of sell yourself is a big part.
I think because I put my name down as team lead because I had the most experience throughout of uni as well, so I feel like that might have played an impact in it, because I think Cheddar Cat, like you said, so I led a team in that, and Game Engines, which was a new unit, and I led another team in that, so I had quite a bit of experience through uni just leading teams, so we had a lot of evidence, I suppose, of all the skills we developed, because pretty much we both took every opportunity that's come across us throughout uni, whereas others might be like, oh, I don't want to do that, we just take it and do it. More experience you've got under your belt, the better.
So how important was your portfolio in securing your position, and what tips would you give current students about creating a strong portfolio?
I mean, for us, the portfolio actually didn't play any part in the application process, but in terms of having that stuff under our belt, personally, it definitely helped. Not outward facing, but inward facing, just knowing that, okay, well, this is what I've done, this is what I can do. You can set your expectations correctly, you can set your scope correctly. So it's a good way of just seeing also how far you've come. I mean, when I look at some of our first games, it's like a bit rubbish, but obviously you can watch them get better. So in terms of that, I mean, it's a personal thing, but for Transfuser, it didn't play a role at all.
I'd say for students starting, just get your portfolio down. I started mine in my first year. Literally had nothing on it, obviously, because I just started doing it. But if you've got the framework for it, you can just start putting them on, do the design while you can, because your first year you've got the most free time out of all of uni. Once it starts getting to final year, you're full of applying for jobs, doing the actual uni work, your dissertation, everything. So if you're starting your portfolio in your final year, I suppose it's all right for game design because they have a unit for it, don't they? I think.
Yeah. So one of our last units was actually just making a portfolio.
But ours wasn't. So it was.
So it does depend on what. If you don't have the opportunity, it's good to start early.
But even then, if you got a unit on it, it's 3 marks that you're starting 2 years early. So it's definitely something you should start.
Did you participate in any internships, game jams, or side projects during your studies? And did these experiences impact any of your job search?
I think Jacob did more internships than me. I only did. I mean, I did one. I I did 2, but I don't know if one was actually an internship. It was more
Yeah,
just
I crossed
employment. So we did one working on a VR game for open days and stuff to
That was second year,
show off the
wasn't it?
hardware. That was second year summer.
Yeah.
And then this year, during term time, we helped out with the Game a Week unit. So we just went around helping people with the games because
Yeah.
they thought that we were of the best students that they did the year prior. So they brought us on to help students.
Sort of give
This
our
year,
advice, experience,
Yeah.
how we went through it and stuff like that. It's good. I think for me as well, that internship we did in second year, making a VR game, I'd never touched VR. And it was a good internship, but it made me realise, just doing that 3 months of development, I don't want to work in VR.
Yeah.
That is good.
Motions,
To figure
motion
out.
sickness and stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly,
it is
yeah,
good.
so-
It's a good opportunity to find
Yeah.
dial in what you actually enjoy.
Yeah, so it's not even if it's a negative, you come out with a positive because you know what you want to do at the end of it. And then my other internship was working as a research assistant on a game with John Henry, which was just developing. It was sort of a narrative-driven game for. I think it's providing CBT for children with behavioural issues, but I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But it was along those lines. That was another good one because I got to learn a lot about the research aspect of games and serious games because that's what I'm interested in as well.
Oh, nice.
But yeah.
Was there any game jams you've been doing, or was it just mostly?
No, not
smaller
personally.
projects?
I mean, last summer was the VR internship, so I didn't really have a chance to. But I mean, game jams I can say that the game jams are the most useful thing because the Game a Week unit was by far
I
the
loved
biggest.
it.
Yeah. It's by far the most useful for learning.
Yeah.
You just kind of have
You
to.
have to teach yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
Have
So
to.
if you can put yourself in a game, you're in a game jam off your own back, then that's definitely a good opportunity to learn.
I started my first game jam in my first year and a hackathon. So I literally could not code. I didn't even know what a variable was. But I jumped on the MMU hackathon, which was a 24-hour hackathon. I was just sat in a car like this with 5 other random students who I never knew. I think they were on computer science or something. And I got to know them. And I ended up doing another game jam with one of the lads from it. Which, like I said, I don't know what a variable was at the start, so I didn't really do anything, but I learnt a lot. So even if you don't know anything, just do it.
So if you were looking back, is there anything you wish you had done differently during your time as a student that might have made your job searching easier?
Oh, that's a difficult one because technically we are going to be going into the job search, and I'm hoping that I've done everything I could. I mean, I can't think of anything that I would have liked to have done differently. I tried to take on as many opportunities as I could. Just when they showed themselves, just try and take it. So no, not really. I don't think there's anything personal I wish I'd done differently. I think we'll see how much I struggle with the job search. If I can't get a job, then I'm sure I'll find something to wish for. But as of right now, I think I'm pretty happy with how I handle things.
For me, probably experiment and learn more about the industry early on. Because even now, I still don't know too much about it. And they do say, I think it's part of your 5-year plan in the first year, how much do you know about the games industry or the industry you're going to be going into. And mine was 0, and it's probably about 1 now. Because I just never looked into it. My eyes have just always been on doing the next unit, doing this, doing that, never looked forward. So I suppose just focusing on planning for your future for me. But other than that, we took quite, like I say, we took all the opportunities we were presented, so quite happy with what we've done and what I've done.
What advice would you give to current students or recent graduates who are struggling to break into the industry in particular?
Well, I can't say because I'm technically not in the industry, but I wouldn't rush into it. If it's something you really want to do, be willing to take time in a position that you don't necessarily want to be in, and long term and do it on the side. I mean, for everyone that I've talked to in industry and in education has told me that having a game shipped is one of the biggest things that will put you ahead of other people. So if you can on an evening, and they're not talking about AAA games, they're just talking about knowing the process of making a game start to finish and releasing it. So if you can take the time in an evening, you might be working an office job that you're not too happy about, but if you can find the time and it's really what you want to do, and you can make the time to just work on it over a year, release a small game. I think
you could even find people from uni that you've worked with.
Oh yeah, not even solo.
Well.
Just But it's just, I think you need to be willing to, personally, I think you need to be willing to take time in an uncomfortable position to find a
You can go into different specializations, so maybe tailoring portfolio to what you want to do. So for me, I like systems development, but nothing on my portfolio is specifically tailored to that role. But that's just because I've not done that. So if I was to tailor that now, I'd have to pull specific parts of what I've done through all my experience to say this is what I can do and this is how I can sort of benefit it. That's what I do.
Thank you very much for joining, and I'll stop the recording for now.
No worries.
Thank you very much.